Ben Shapiro is like a detached sociopath. Like he really is. Like, and especially as time moves forward, I'm really seeing him more and more as just like a little boy who never actually had to be confronted with anything real. He's always had his hand held. He's never been told no, right? He wants to go speak at Harvard University, and his daddy pays money, so he gets to go debate college students who attempt to take him seriously when he isn't serious at all. Like the only thing that's serious about Ben Shapiro is his influence, right? And that's kind of the terrifying thing, that someone like Ben Shapiro has millions of followers who actually listen to him and take him seriously, and he's essentially a neo-fascist, right? Like he supports wiping out minority groups. He supports the destruction of Arabs. And on top of this, he's incredibly stupid, right? He's incredibly stupid, saying idiotic, moronic things like, well, people will just sell their houses if the sea levels go up and move. Like, sell them to who, Ben? Like, this is very, and it's such an obvious thing to rebut, and yet he continuously says it. His last appearance on Joe Rogan, he said it. And Joe Rogan just let it slide because Joe Rogan was more interested in other things. But, like, it's terrifying to me that the people who are at the top of the discourse with the most amount of followers are fascists who are incredibly stupid. Like, that's very, very concerning to me. And hopefully channels like mine and like and others around will start to gain more traction and hopefully channels like his will begin to decline. And we've seen this happen before. Like, Sam Harris is a great example of this. That Sam Harris had a cresting sort of support, and a little bit rightfully, because he spoke out against evangelical Christians and the evangelical sort of fundamentalist fascists. But once he had garnered that support, he moved on and essentially became like kind of a crazed Islamophobe, right? Very pro-imperialist. His pro-torture argument, he never stepped down from. One of the only people who has never recanted from taking a pro-torture position. And because of these things, and because leftists like Chris Hedges, for example, repudiated him, his support declined. And I hope to see a similar thing happen to Steven Crowder, Ben Shapiro, these guys, as people begin to kind of grow up and realize, like, oh, these guys are actually morons and highly dangerous. Like, if we were to actually follow through with the way that the Shapiros of the world think, we would be living in a horrible, horrific, oppressive police state that would make what we're already doing look like baby time, right? Like, these fascists genuinely want to do massive damage to the world and don't seem connected at all to any of the realities or consequences or history that these things exist in. And, like, Shapiro's stupidity can't be overstated. Like, this is a guy who literally walks around saying facts don't care about your feelings, while simultaneously believing that he has a magic book that gives him rules that he has to attempt to explain, right? Like, this is the cognitive dissonance that exists in his mind, that he simultaneously believes that he lives in a world of fact while simultaneously clinging on to a book that he believes is magic, right? And it seems like no left commentator or interviewer or anyone wants to point this out. It seems like there's no one in the discourse who's willing to stand up and point out of Ben Shapiro. This guy is holding up a book and calling it magic, saying that it was written by a deity and that we have to adhere to it and alter the way that we think of the world because I believe this book is magic. It's childishness. It's overt and obvious childishness, and yet no one is talking about him this way. No one is standing up and saying, like, they're saying, like, he's dumb or he's a fascist, but nobody is pointing out that, like, he believes that magic is real. Like, how does this not completely discredit him as a speaker from the very beginning? And he's very outspoken about it. You can find plenty of clips of him saying that he believes that the book he has is magic and that the rules in it should be adhered to because a magic being told him so, right? Like this is the obtuse level of his stupidity, and yet we're supposed to take him seriously because he speaks quickly. Like this is the strategy of a con man and a grifter. Just talk as fast as possible. Don't allow people to parse what you're saying. And if they do attempt to parse what you're saying, just move on to something else, right? Like he's not intelligent. He's just rich. And that's the Ben Shapiro story, and I hope to see him kind of go away sooner rather than later.